Welcome to another episode of the CarryTrainer Higher Line podcast. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Higher Line podcast. This episode is brought to us by Gunfighter Gun Oil, one of the best lubes on the market. And we've got a guy I've been trying to get on here for a while. This is Mr. Master Ken, the mustached ninja. My words, not yours.
How you doing?
I'm doing super, man. I appreciate you taking the time to come on. We asked you about a year ago to do this, and we bounced around a little bit and finally pinned you down with your busy schedule.
Yeah, well, I'm very busy. I'm a very busy person, and very important.
I see that you've got metric tons of YouTube videos.
Quite a few. How are the lube sales going?
Lubricant is actually a lucrative product. This is a very cool lubricant. It's non-biodegradable, 100% synthetic. So that's nice. You're not going to wash it off.
That's good. I've been using lubricant in self-defense for years.
What application would a guy use lube in self-defense?
Well, it's an anti-grabbing agent.
Okay.
So before, if I know I'm going to go outside of the dojo where I don't know, who is where or what their deal is, I'll take a lubricant and just cover all of the easily grabbable appendages, and then somebody so that way if somebody just reaches, they just slip right off. Yeah, also, you guys, if I were on a tile floor and I needed to hit the deck, skin on a flat surface like that that's all lubed up, you can just like slide right across it. So if I needed to slide quickly and I'm lubed up, I'm ready.
Do you and your students, is this something you guys practice? Are you lubing your students? Are your students lubing each other? Are your students
we have
you?
once every other month we have the Saturday slip and slide.
Oh, really? Talk about that.
Yeah, we'll put a tarp out on the dojo, and we have an attacker and a defender, and one is lubed up, and it's just like it's like they do in the South with a pig, right? You know how they oil the pig?
Sure.
You just try to catch the pig.
Do you have a preferred lube? Is it water-based, petroleum-based? Is it corn oil? Do you guys?
I'll lube up with anything.
Anything.
Yeah,
so
I've done it with. I'll use a regular product. In a pinch, I'll use motor oil. I don't care.
I think that this could be a cool Master Ken product, Master Ken Body Lube.
That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Cinnamon flavor. You could do like freesia. Different scents. I'm a peppermint guy myself.
Yeah, I would say anything as long as we don't go in the menthol category, because that can get a little uncomfortable depending on where it goes. But otherwise, yeah, it's a good idea.
How did you start? How did you how did you start your YouTube program? Like, at what point did you go from student Ken to Master Ken? Were you
the unique thing about me is that I was sort of born a master. I feel like a lot of the knowledge that I have was just intrinsically in me, and I just had to discover it. So by studying other martial arts and bouncing around, I would see something, maybe a roundhouse kick or something that I thought I could use, but then I would see a bunch of other bullshit and think, well, I'm not going to learn that.
Give me an example of some bullshit that you knew that's dumb. I'm not going to waste my time on that.
Oh, the Aikido. I walk in and they're all wearing those hakama dresses and everything, and they're all attacking. They're all just doing their whippy head attacks and things like that, and rolling around on the floor. I knew that wasn't going to work from the time I saw it. I drove up to a kung fu school and I didn't even go inside. I could tell from the sign that they were total bullshit, so I just left.
Was it the color, the shape?
Just the vibe I got. I just, from the way they spelled it, and the logos and everything. I was like, I don't even need to waste my time for this. Yeah, there's a lot of styles that I don't like, but I take a lot of techniques from real life situations. The other day I almost choked on a hamburger, and I thought I could probably do that to somebody else.
So are you putting something into somebody's throat? Like
that's what I'm thinking. If I'm how do I weaponize a cheeseburger? So now when I'm eating it, I realize I'm holding a weapon that almost killed me in my hand, and think I can turn that right around. I can make an opponent choke on that probably better than I choked on it myself.
Can anybody come to your school? Like, is it like a lot of martial arts schools where if you pull up, sign the forms, write the check, you can join? Do you vet your students? Do you have to go through some process of vetting or making sure that they're capable of your kind of training?
I mean, the main thing is their willingness to learn, their willingness to surrender, to admit that whatever, especially if they have any training before, that they need to give that up, that it's totally worthless, that they have to be deranked, they have to unlearn all the bullshit they've been studying, things like that. That's the main thing. And then other than that, we just test their reflexes. I will have the other students attack them at random. I'll throw things. I'll go upstairs and throw things at them. And if they're able to, they don't have to catch all of them. But if they at least dodge after the first 4 or 5 times they get hit in the head, if they don't start, your first month in the dojo should just be flinching all the time. Every time you hear something move, you should go. That's what I want to see out of a new student, is just terror. And, some people call it situational awareness, same thing. The idea of situational awareness, just being in the mindset, you're going to be attacked every second of every day. And just being able to see the danger of existing everywhere.
That makes sense. Do you ever have people that after this initiation phase say, this isn't for me, this is too hardcore, I can't take it?
Yeah, plenty of people can't handle it. But I tell them, like, listen, if by the end of your first month of training with me, you don't have an anxiety disorder, you're not doing it right.
That's the metric. Develop anxiety disorders.
Yeah, you should be on some form of medication within 30 days.
Do you? I've not seen you guys compete. Does people from your school go to UFC or different competitions?
No, until once they bring back like the gladiator day, like the real gladiator day. They call the UFC modern day gladiators. Last I checked, they don't allow shields and swords or tigers nobody dies. So until they manage to come up with a competition where you can execute Ameri-Do-Te at its full power, which would result in the death of the other opponent, or at very least the removal of the groin, we're not going to bother. It's like you don't take a professional hockey player and put them in a baseball game and expect them to do well, right?
Sure.
It's a totally different realm, It's the same premise here. You don't take a bunch of trained street fighters and put them in the octagon where they're not allowed to poke eyes and grab groins and rip throats, because it's a waste of time. They'll get disqualified. I don't need my people to be disqualified.
Makes sense. Your art, Ameri-Do-Te, has a lot of emphasis on the groin. Have you always been attracted to the groin as a target?
Well, it's just always been the most effective, and that's just me picking up on that. I'm kind of amazed that hasn't become more common. I mean, I would think that the UFC would be all about the groin, just from the way they dress. But I feel like once you attack the groin effectively and you realize what a debilitating target it is, why focus on anything else? Mm-hmm. And I'm still going to teach, Ameri-Do-Te is still going to be eye pokes and throat rips and arm breaks and all those things, but that's 10%. It's a 90-10 rule. 90% groin, 10% rest of the body.
90-10. It's almost like the 10% is getting you inside of the opponent's guard so you can get to their dick.
Yeah, basically it's an entry or exit kind of technique. You know, it's either you gotta break a bunch of stuff on the way into the groin, or then you get to the groin immediately and you figure, well, while I'm here, you know, and then you sort of work, you break an arm or a finger or poke out an eye just for kicks, because you've already, you know, once you've gotten to the groin, they're yours to do with what you please. So, you know, it's either a prologue or an epilogue. It's that kind of deal.
I dig it. I've noticed, when I first saw you come on the scene to now, it's almost like people travel to you just to get in your gym and film with you. My friend Jason, pro knife fighter, he came out and you guys went out to the range and did some stuff together, and others. Who's your favorite? What's some of the stuff that you've enjoyed doing with people that have traveled to you to train and learn from Master Ken?
Well, yeah, that's a more recent phenomenon as far as the past few years. It seems like more and more people are willing to just come to us and be on the show. And it's good content for us. It's a good way for me to help spread the word. The best way to teach is to show what's wrong with what everybody else. That's the best way I find to teach, is not just to show how good my technique is, but how bad everybody else's is.
Okay.
And that's the mission. That's the mission of Ameri-Do-Te. As far as guests, you know, we just had a gentleman named Pastor Tony and his wife Ashley on. We did a previous episode with them that was well received, so we did a follow-up.
I remember that.
Yeah. So we're going to release another episode very soon with them. I'll take anybody. You know, I'll take anybody. The fighters, you know, I'm back and forth on the fighters. They don't seem to convert as quickly as I would like. They got this idea that just because they've had their face opened up in the octagon means they know how to fight. And I would wager that the fact they've had their face opened up means they don't.
That makes some sense.
Yeah, if I got a fighter in here who had never been hit, then I'd listen to him, you know. But, you know, where are you going to find that? Outside of my door.
That's true. Do you do any work with military units, law enforcement? Is there people coming to you saying, hey, teach us the way of the groin kick, the groin stump?
Sure. Yeah, no, we teach, we've taught law enforcement, we've taught military. Some of that's top secret stuff. So I can't show you what I teach them. Sure. It's an amped up version of Ameri-Do-Te. It's a tactical version. But it's something that I don't think any enemy, any foreign country, any enemy, foreign or domestic, would want to face. And they're pretty impressed with it. I've been asked to do that all over the world.
And you do it, you pass it on. So you're basically an American hero.
I think so.
Your pipes look better than the last time I seen you. What's an average workout look like for you?
You know, I get asked that a lot. And I mean, the main thing is a lot of groin grab, drill. You know, just constantly, you know, I'll put some sort of, say this chair is a groin, you know, I'll just spend all day just going. Sometimes I'll two-hand it. Sometimes you got to do the groin two-hand. So sometimes I'll double-hand it. You know? So that's a lot of it.
That's some hyper-specific kata right there.
Yeah, well, you know, as they say in other sports, you play like you practice. So, you know, how are you going to expect to effectively grab a groin in the street if you're not grabbing groin all day?
That's why you're a master. I dig it. Mustache. It's your trademark.
It is.
Just no beard, just a mustache. Are you known for mustache rides around town there? Is that part of the training program at all?
I mean, the mustache has a variety of functions. It is an aesthetically pleasing choice, but it's also tactical. It can be used for a variety of purposes. Biting. When you bite, You notice, particularly if your front teeth are a little bit more prominent, like mine are, a lot of the blood that comes out when you first bite an opponent, you're going to slip right off, right? But if you have a mustache, it soaks up a lot of the blood, allowing you to just sort of, you can hang on, you know?
That makes sense.
Blood,
okay, it's like a blood sponge.
Exactly, it's a blood sponge, which also I find helps with the color and volume of the mustache. There's a lot of iron in there. So that's a major advantage.
A warrior's mustache grooming fluid.
Yeah, so it's very nice to look at, and it is also another weapon.
I think we just came up with another product for you to sell right there.
Absolutely, yeah, the lubricant and the mustache wax, provided we can get past the FDA with the blood as an ingredient, because that's going to have to be a major ingredient. We have to have a lot of blood. It's basically going to be a container of blood. So I don't know how that's...
This isn't wax at all. It's blood.
It's just blood. It's just blood. There may be blood with some lavender or something, so that it doesn't... so that it's a little... When it's right under your nose,
smells like death and flowers.
Right, yeah. You need something that's a little lighter because it's right under your nose to smell it. But it's mainly going to be you just take a bunch of blood and you just pat it on every morning.
Oh, that's awesome.
So...
Any lady in your life? Is there a Mrs. Master Ken?
No, I'm my wife and my mistress are both Ameri-Do-Te.
No room, huh?
I don't know how people find the time, really. But that's probably why my training and my skills are so superior. Is I don't waste a lot of time on other things. I just stay focused on the groin.
I'm assuming, though, with your physique, your online presence, the mustache, your sense of humor, you must have women throw themselves at you.
Yeah, and that's why I work a lot on dodging. I'll have Todd throw women-sized dummies at me, and I will dodge them regularly. Because women do literally, they will throw themselves at me, and I just see it as another form of attack. If anything, the way I look is a hindrance on my own safety. I'm more likely to be attacked because I'm so good looking.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
So
you're like a warrior monk of sorts.
Yeah, except I don't go to church or whatever they do.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have my church. My church is my dojo.
Okay.
So I worship at the altar of Ameri-Do-Te, and I get all the spirituality I need out of that. But whatever monks do, I don't shave my head. I don't wear sheets. I don't play the flute, not professionally anyway. Other than that, I'm just like a monk.
Was that a skin flute reference?
You tell me. This is your show.
All right. To maintain this physique, Master Ken level of mental acuity. What's the diet? What kind of food do you eat? What don't you eat? Do you partake in alcohol? You into you go out in the desert down there and take peyote and commune with the gods? I
do have a bit of an herbal routine that is somewhat patented and secret that I help to supplement. But the rest of it is a lot of high calorie, high fats. I do grease every plate with lard. High in saturated fats, which helps your digestive system, because then whatever you eat goes through you like, you know what I mean? It's like a water slide. And so, which is helpful when occasionally I'm not paying attention, I eat something that I shouldn't, like a marble or something. That thing is out in record time.
Yeah, that's funny. So you literally, what every meal you got, you take some lard, just slather it on the plate, make sure you've got a little something there. Yeah,
make sure that it's, I try to eat only shiny foods. Like as long as it's shining or sweating from saturated fat. That's my primary.
Give me an example of shiny.
I mean, after a good workout, after a good workout, you have that sheen on your face, or if you bump into an addict, a meth addict in the summer.
Okay.
And you see they get that kind of glow to them, that meth addict glow.
Yes.
That's what I'm going for with my food.
Okay.
Yeah, so if I have some orange chicken, I want that. I want to be able to send a signal to Todd just by holding my orange chicken up to the light.
I got you, that nice shine.
Yeah, the way campers, it's like when campers carry a mirror in case they get lost, to signal to an airplane. I do that only with chicken.
Orange chicken. I got it. Was your parents, were they into martial arts?
I don't really know much about them.
No?
No, I don't know. I don't know a whole lot about
them. Where'd you come from? What's your first recollection?
My earliest recollection is in mid-childhood, facing off with a band of ninjas.
Where was this at?
This was in Hong Kong. It was a long time ago. That's the earliest thing I can remember.
So no pictures of you as a baby? Nobody had some Christmas photos with you on Santa's lap or chasing Easter eggs?
Not that I can remember. I mean, I've looked like this as long as I've known me.
So if you think back through the history of your life, like I can remember being a pretty small child, the first thought that comes to mind is you facing off a group of ninjas.
Yeah, just being outmatched and outweighed. I was probably only $110 at that point. And, that's one of my earliest memories. That was sort of a formative experience. And anything before that's kind of hazy.
Where did you go from there? How did you end up in the United States in the Southwest?
Well, traveling, I ended up on a boat at one point. And arrived at the ports in New York, and managed to sneak into the country, and through some other research and stuff, found some documentation that proved that I was originally from there. So I presume that I was born there, taken away to Hong Kong, a little hazy there, and then managed to come back to my home country.
I see. And then have you done anything else in your life? Has it always been martial arts centric? Did you go to school? I've
done a variety of things. I've done some government work, some undercover work. Worked in the entertainment industry for a little while. I've had a very colorful history, but I knew ultimately I had to settle in on something that was my true passion, and that was developing what an incredible martial artist I am and sharing that with the world.
Go into the entertainment. What did you do in the entertainment field?
I made a series of straight-to-video movies. Nothing particularly adult. Just it was a niche market. So some of those are starting to resurface. Some clips from those. Just some low-budget adventure type films that may come to light sometime soon. We're thinking of re-releasing some of those.
Oh, cool. So not porn?
Not exclusively, no.
Because I could look at you and think, man, this guy's got a face for porno.
I had a lot of offers. But my main thing was that I didn't like how fake the movies were. I wanted to be the real deal. So, I did all my own stunts. And hurt a lot of people, but it looked great. It ended up becoming a liability. I couldn't get insured was the problem. Is that eventually
the actors wanted to work with you because
all the stunt guys were a bunch of pussies. They didn't want to take any real groin shots. So eventually, I couldn't find people to beat up in the movies, and then I couldn't get insured because apparently I was too dangerous for the productions. So I had to pick another route.
Oh, man. And that kind of led to the dojo.
Yeah, that was the beginning of me deciding to really focus on developing myself as a martial artist, and then and teaching.
Okay.
And that was about the time, once I'd done that, once I'd been teaching for a few years and really developed my style, that was when I was approached about the YouTube show, and the rest is history.
Okay. Yeah, you guys have been at that for a couple of years now. It's done well.
Yeah, we're very famous. We have about 75 million views on our YouTube channel. And I've traveled all over the world. I've been to Scotland, England, Wales, Germany, Australia, Canada, and all over the U.S., spreading the word of Ameri-Do-Te.
When you go, are you teaching? Are you just there for people to meet you and shake your hand? Are you?
It depends on what they want. Sometimes, and you can go to our website, enterthedojoshow.com, and you can book an actual appearance by me. And sometimes I teach the power of Ameri-Do-Te, if people have the stomach for it, if they're courageous enough. And then if they're not, sometimes it's enough for people to just shake my hand and take a picture with me, and then the rest of their life is better off.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. Yeah, you're courageous. I saw you at SHOT Show a few years ago walking around barefoot in the casinos.
Oh yeah. Well, because of all the biting I referred to earlier, the more different people's blood you get in your mustache, the more immunity you build up.
Okay.
Yeah,
so whatever you step on,
I'm less likely to get sick.
I gotcha. Nothing is gonna turn into a disease on you.
Yeah, and I condition the bottoms of my feet.
How do you do that?
Stomping on people.
Okay. So not a tool. You literally stomp on other people.
Yeah, and I'll walk around on things that are kind of rough. Out on the pavement, I'll run around the dojo out on the pavement to strengthen my feet,
Okay.
or hit them with a hammer.
You hit the bottom of your feet with a hammer?
Yeah, yeah.
What do you say if somebody else that has martial arts experience? I know some great instructors, if they hear some of this and say, Master Ken, that's not a good idea. Like, what would you say to them? Other masters.
I'd say, usually I say something like, "Don't knock it till you try it."
Okay.
But I'm never shocked when people wimp out. Whenever if some big time master martial artist comes up to me and says that something I taught or something I demonstrated didn't work for him, I say, "Well, that's because you're not letting me teach it." That's I teach somebody a gun defense, and they come back and say, "I ended up with a bullet in my foot." I say, "Well, you got to practice until you get it right. It may take you 1 bullet, it may take you 12, but however many bullets in the foot you got to take, that's what it takes to learn."
Have you ever been shot?
I've been shot at.
Okay.
Yeah.
They didn't hit you.
I've caught it. I've had a flesh wound here and there.
Okay.
But nothing. I have nothing fatal.
The more I think about this and I'm talking to you about it, it's pretty remarkable all the stuff that you've done that you're still alive.
Yeah, I'm surprised myself. I didn't think I'd last this long.
No?
But just because I figured just by how dangerous I am to the establishment of martial arts that somebody would have picked me off by now, because I've upset a lot of people. Or, just at some point I would become so dangerous that I would accidentally do myself in.
Oh.
Sure. Some techniques I do are so dangerous and powerful, I think, geez, I almost took myself out with that.
That makes me think of the hamburger earlier. What if like your subconscious is getting so sharp that it tried to kill you?
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Sometimes I'll, I used to practice like a lot of headbutting, right? Like not just forward headbutting, but you can hit with the sides of the head like this. And then my neck was beginning to move so fast, I thought, geez, if I do that, I might break my own neck. So I backed off of that.
That makes good sense. That does make good sense.
I used to practice holding my breath just in case I had to fight underwater. And I got so good at it, I could hold it for, 6, 7, 8 minutes. And then I read someplace that if you don't get oxygen after 8 minutes, your brain will start to die. And so I thought, well, gosh, my lungs are trying to kill my brain.
So you had to force yourself to stop doing that training.
Yeah, I got too good at it. I bet I could spend a half hour underwater if I wanted. I would have to take the brain trauma in order to do it.
And you're not willing to risk it.
Well, I just don't want it to affect my speech. I'm not really worried about the rest of it, but if I come up with a brain injury, then I'm going to have to write everything down, and it's going to slow down my teaching.
Sure. What's the next step for you? You guys got your internet sensation, sexually desired by both men and women, lubricant expert, groin crusher. People bring you to other countries. What's next? Where do you go? Where do you go next? How do you top all of this?
Well, yeah, that's the biggest challenge, is topping myself. I think that probably, we are planning to do some much more elaborate things on the channel. We're going to do some more elaborate videos. We're going to try to launch a couple of new shows talking about a movie, as well as, like I said, remastering some of the old work that I did back in the day, and continuing to develop more and more effectively lethal techniques, doing all kinds of defense, teaching people, tactical defenses, teaching people how to defend against all kinds of weapons. Sky's the limit, really. I'm hoping eventually to put a dojo on the moon, but the logistics of that are incredible.
I can imagine. Who would you teach up there?
Well, that's the problem. It's an open market, but I can't get any demographics on who's up there.
I got it.
Yeah.
Just talking with you.
I was thinking to start, it would be astronauts. It'd be whoever is landing on the moon that week. We just we run them through a lesson. It turns out they don't do missions as often as I thought.
Okay.
So we're thinking maybe initially open a dojo on the space station. Small operation, I can deal with 3, 4, 5, 6 students. And then eventually they convince their families to move up there, and then we move them to the moon.
That's a good plan. And then the population of the moon as it grows is going to be well-trained people.
Yeah, and I just want it to be my dojo and a McDonald's. We're going to have all the business up there. It'll be me, McDonald's, and Starbucks.
Oh, I'll take the Starbucks. No McDonald's for me. No, thank you. Talking to you, seeing just you pulling those guns up, I might have to jump a plane and come down to New Mexico and see what you're made of in person. See if you could teach me. Yeah, you should come on the show. Things.
You should come check out an episode. So I'm working on a lot of very interesting tactical type of moves that a lot of people aren't teaching. It's a lot of groundbreaking stuff.
Yeah. Do the folks that follow you, do they have the ability to come and actually train with you? Like if somebody watches you on YouTube, can they look you up, find you, and come to the gym, or is that?
Absolutely. Yeah. Just message me through the grams or through Facebook or YouTube, and set up a lesson, and we'll do it. We'll put a video together and put you on the show, and continue to spread the word about these techniques.
I like it. What are you working on there with the pistol?
Doing a lot of inverted stuff these days. Everybody I see teaching does all this. I hardly ever see anybody do this.
It's true. What's the benefit? What are you trying to get at?
Well, I find it's a little easier to grab the pistol.
Okay.
Number one. Number two, it switches all the dynamics. If everybody's trained to be shooting like this, and then all of a sudden, say they find themselves in Australia where everything is upside down.
Okay.
How are they suddenly going to be able to shoot? They're going to be totally confused trying to shoot like this.
So you're preparing, like if somebody was to kidnap you and you find yourself in Australia.
Yeah, I mean, what if I find myself either in Australia or I'm kidnapped and someone ties me upside down?
Sure.
If my feet are hanging from the ceiling, I can't just shoot like this. I'm upside down. Now I got to shoot like this.
How do you actuate the trigger? Oh, silly me.
Call it the pinky pull. So you got to work on your pinky pull. If you even want to shoot, there's also the idea of just attacking with, working on your pistol punch. I teach pistol punch like this, but also we do inverted pistol punch like this. This is also perfectly shaped and angled for an anal attack.
Oh, man, I'm very, very much into anal.
Yeah, so if you're sneaking up behind a sentry or something, and they're just standing here. See that?
Uh-huh. You piqued my interest.
Yeah. So there's a lot of different things you can do with it.
Some cutting edge stuff. I've got some friends from high levels of special operations, and I don't even think those guys know an anal attack like that.
No, it's pretty exclusive stuff. But that's why they hire me. You want the groundbreaking stuff, you got to go with the thinking outside of the box.
Uh-huh. My only concern is whether or not I'd want that gun back after I used it for such an attack,
Well, that's why I tend to buy rubbing alcohol in bulk.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Just clean the shit off of your guns.
Literally. See, you walked into that one.
I did walk. I stepped right in it, Ken. I stepped right in it. I really appreciate you taking the time to visit with us a little bit. I know that you have a lot on your plate, a lot of people vying for your time. What do you got there? The rifle?
Yeah, just practicing some rifle stuff.
Ooh. You got a license? You got a license?
But again, I'll teach a little bit different. A lot of people, I see a lot of guys doing this tactical stuff. See a lot of people making the mistake of doing the mag grab. Well,
okay.
Obviously, don't want to see that type of stuff. I don't see anybody teaching inverted.
It makes a lot of sense, man.
Yeah.
It's like nauseatingly simple. It's glaring at us. Like, why did we not think of this?
Why don't we see more of this with a pinky pull?
Were you was it a flash of inspiration to do this upside down stuff? Did it just come to you one day?
I fell down the stairs and when I landed, everything was upside down. And I thought, what if I had to fight like this?
That makes fantastic sense. Fantastic sense. Mm-hmm. So you surrounded yourself with a lot of people that let you really beat the shit out of them. How do you keep them around?
Contracts.
Contracts?
Yeah, you just make it too expensive to quit. That's a big incentive. It's like when you join a gym and you sign up and then you change your mind and they say, well, yeah, sure, but it's going to cost you $200 just to get out of it. A lot of people just stay.
Okay. So you have some indentured servants of sort.
Yeah, basically. They rarely read it, whatever they sign. They're usually so excited from what they see that they're just ready to join up. So.
And then if they try to leave, you pull it out and say.
Yeah, I just remind them, that they signed in blood on the dotted line. And, that doesn't work on everybody. Some people have left. Some people have paid quite a bit of money just to leave. But I think that's weakness.
You probably didn't need them to begin with if they.
Yeah, good riddance. Good riddance.
Good riddance. Good riddance. Not cut of the stuff you're looking for.
Right.
I think I'm actually going to send you an email. I know you get a lot of people coming down there, but I think that I'm interested to see what you can teach, and I might be able to pass on a couple things to you with the pistol or rifle, as that's my area.
Come on out to New Mexico, and we'll teach you a thing or two. And
I do have to say that I am pretty well versed in the dick and balls and anal game. So maybe a meeting of the minds there on that.
Well, there's always room for improvement.
Yeah. Well, for sure. I'm saying, like, when a guy thinks he knows it all, and then I see something like that anal move with the pistol there.
You guys do any double gun training?
No, we don't. Are you using the sight to actuate the trigger?
Yeah.
Is that what you're doing?
You never know when you're going to need a gun that has a gun.
That makes sense.
Right?
Sure.
And then you sort of fire both of them at the same time. That's the idea.
Makes great sense. Mm-hmm. Did you just come up with that, or is that something that you guys...
This is just instinct. This is just instinct. This is what it's like to work with me. I'm coming up with genius level stuff all the time.
All the time. All the time. I dig it. I like to ask guests when they come on, and I know you'll have something good to say. If the people listening, which is probably not the case with you, but if they never see you again, never cross your work again, what kind of advice would a master pass on to them? What would you tell the folks listening or viewing that could be helpful to them in life in any way, shape, or form?
Well, I've been asked that question many times, and my answer is the same today as it was first time I was asked it. If you ever see a mongoose in the wild, leave it alone.
That's great advice.
Trust me on that. Leave it alone.
That's fucking brilliant. I love it. If you guys are not following Master Ken's work on both YouTube and Instagram, you should do so. It's enlightening. It's lightening for the heart. It's also some good old-fashioned American ass whooping. So I appreciate your time today, brother.
Well, thanks for having me on, and remember everybody to check me out on YouTube, on Facebook, Instagram, and I'm always available. Except when I'm not, which is most of the time. So when I am available, I'm definitely always available. But when I'm not available, I'm not.
And if they go to Instagram or YouTube or Facebook, they'll find a way to get a message off to you.
Absolutely. You can message me through through any of the social media places, as well as at enterthedojoshow.com. And you can check out more about what we do and learn about the only true street fighting art that is in existence today.
It's pretty badass.
I agree.
Yeah. Thank you, sir. I appreciate your time. For you folks listening, we appreciate you taking the time to listen to Ken and I and joining us here with the Higher Line podcast. I'm going to put the clip up probably of him showing us the two-handed ball grab, groin grab. What is it that you're working on right now?
This is the tiger claw. You always got to work on the left and right. This one catches the punch. This one removes the eyes.
Catches the punch.
Catch the punch. Remove the eyes.
Catch the punch. Wait, am I catching it here, or am I catching it?
You want to catch it close to your face in case you want to bite it.
Catch it. Okay.
Yep. Then eye removal here.
Do I go for whichever eye's closer, one side?
Whichever one you can get. That's why you have all the fingers. If you move quickly, it's tough for other people to get exactly which eye they want. So just put all fingers out there, and wherever you feel an eye, just start digging. Even if it's just the pinky, just start digging at that eye. I'll do this for hours.
Have you ever pulled an eyeball out?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I'll go to the butcher sometimes and just say, give me everything with eyes, and I'll just take them home and just dig them out.
Just work it. Do you eat any of it? Do you eat the eyes, or?
Oh, I mean, I'll never turn down a good eye soup.
They are shiny.
That's part of the reason I eat them.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Also to improve my own eyesight.
You've got very nice fingernails.
Well, I keep them Keep them sharp and trimmed by digging out eyes.
Look at that nasty ass finger compared to your pretty one.
Yeah, I don't like the look of that.
I love it, man. I very much appreciate you coming on and sharing some of your wisdom with everybody and giving me some laughs. It's good stuff.
Well, you're welcome. It's good to see you, and good luck in all of your endeavors, and come out and be on the show.
I will definitely do it. You folks listening, be well. Don't be dickheads. And remember, sometimes you might have to play with a dick or a ball to win. And don't mongooses.
That's the most important lesson.
Visit our website, CarryTrainer.com, for information about classes held throughout the U.S., CarryTrainer apparel, and upcoming projects. You can also email us at training@CarryTrainer.com for information about setting up your own private course or speaking engagement. Training@CarryTrainer.com or CarryTrainer.com.